What is cooking, everybody? This is Randy Paddock, and you are listening to Bull Chat with Randy Paddock, and it is episode 11, the 1-1. So we've had some things going so far. So this is the 11th full Bull Chat episode. We have 2 baby chats, so mini episodes, and I have 1 recovery tip, short little YouTube video. So here's what you got to do. If you are not already a subscriber, you have to subscribe to hear this shit. Otherwise, you could die. You could. This will get you through life. So, subscribe on iTunes. All right, so it's Bull Chat with Randy Paddock on iTunes. Clearly, if you're listening to this shit on iTunes, you figured it out. So, subscribe. And then on YouTube, Bull Chat Pod is the channel. So, please subscribe to that as well. That way, you can always see my ugly mug as well. And I'm going to be adding more content onto that channel. Leroy also makes appearances, which is a big seller. So subscribe to both. Also, if you would not mind, it would really help me out. Rate stuff. I don't give a shit if you like it or if you don't like it. Just rate it. You can give it stars. You can give it thumbs up. You can give it fuck you. You can leave a comment. Whatever. But the more engagement, more feedback, the more it really helps me out. So that would be awesome. Also, if you ever have an idea for anything or have any feedback, hit me up at bullchatpod@gmail.com. And you can always find me on the interwebs. Randy J. Paddock on Instagram, Randy Paddock on Facebook, at Randy Paddock on Twitter, which I have no fucking clue how to use. I don't think anyone follows me. And I just use it to read funny shit. If you want to see 2 funny Twitter feeds, 1 is Hold My Beer, and it's people that hold their beer and then do stupid shit. 2 is The Iron Sheik. Other than that, you can follow me if you want. That aside, hopefully everyone is having a good one. This is a strange interaction for us because I usually do this on the weekend. This is a random Wednesday evening. I just happen to have some free time. I didn't get it out this weekend because it was my papa's 85th birthday. So, Tony Torello, way to be. So I found, hey, this Wednesday I got some free time, so I'm going to get into it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about today. So I talk about, if you listen to the number 9, podcast 9, excuse me, I talk about this book, Discipline Equals Freedom, a field manual written by this guy Jocko Willink, who's a guy I think is awesome, and I follow on everything. I listen to all his podcasts, and he's a motivational guy. He's got his shit together, and I think you should listen to him too. But the Jocko podcast, going back and I'm listening to him all. He's got over like 100 and something, but so I'm like, I'm just gonna re-listen to him all now because it was funny. The first time I listened to his podcast, I wasn't really into it, and then I tried it again and I liked it, so now I'm going back to these old ones that I've tried before, and I'm like, it's just making more sense, especially after I read his book and really like him a lot more. So the thing he's been talking a lot about in his original podcasts, and I say older, only like 2 years ago, but this thought of freeing your mind, right? Of having a free mind. He's just been saying you got to free your mind. So I wanted to talk about that because that's a concept that I think is awesome, and I think it's something that could help everyone be very successful in any venture that they're on, be it, relationships, be it work, be it leading people, be it in the gym, be it just quality of life changes or any big change that you have or anything that you're doing, just freeing your mind and having an open mind. So that's why I want to talk about it a little bit today. So free your mind. So at this point in time, if I could, I would cue En Vogue, 1990, free your mind. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. Down, down. If you don't know that, you can't be my friend. That video was awesome. They were hot. They were like doing a runway show. It was a great song. Steal it from the internet if you don't know it. So anyhow, about freeing your mind. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, as you see me look down, I'm just looking at my notes. So a lot of people think that they're right about everything. Okay? And I'm one of those people at times. I think every human being on planet Earth thinks that they are right about everything, for the most part. Here's some examples. Have you ever said, just do it this way? Right? Oh, this way is the best. Oh, mine is the best way to do it. Oh, this recipe is the best way. Oh, this is the fastest way. Oh, yada, yada, yada. All this stuff. We think we're right about everything, and I think that's got a couple of factors with it. I think one is, Leroy's got this bone. I'm not gonna let him chew on this. This is a problem right here. It's a rubber one. Can't let him chew on it. It's loud. But I think it's got ego. We all have a big ego. There's this great book. I forgot who wrote it. I gifted it to somebody, but it's called Ego is the Enemy, and it was essentially about the guy who was like the CEO or became marketing manager or president or something of that brand True Religion that was huge back in the day. It was all those shitty jeans with with like the crosses and all the stuff on the butt pockets. But anyway, he was like a young kid that got successful fast, and how he kind of messed up that whole company and ruined a lot of things because ego got in the way. So that's one thing. We all have a big ego, and we have the urge to want to be right. And I think we're all competitive, so it's like natural selection, right? It's evolution. It's winning. My idea wins. My idea is better than yours. I'm better than you, right? I think that's what kind of why we think we're right about stuff. And I was kind of got double trouble, if you will, two ways in how that kind of mentality has been in my brain. So one, where I grew up, like it's just how it was. It's funny, like these days, or maybe it's a couple of years back, I don't remember, you see this stuff like like fill in the blank versus everybody, right? Cleveland versus everybody, so and so versus the world, right? This and that. Well, where I grew up in Wakanda, Illinois, like we should have coined that shit back in the day, because that's exactly how we were. We were on a fuck the world mentality. If you didn't grow up, in the whatever radius miles of little piece of trash Wakanda, you know what I'm saying? Like, your shit did not matter. We were the best at everything. We were right about everything. That was the way to do things, right? Like that was built in my mind. We hated on everything else. It was like I couldn't fathom someone from outside of where I live telling me anything about anything, and I was not alone. That was every person I knew. And man, it was like a nasty ass effect too. Like there's motherfuckers I would see when I was 22 years old sitting at the bar that I was at when they're 45 with that same mentality. Like there's something in the water. I think we're all drinking out of Bangs Lake or something. But like, so I had that kind of mentality in my head. Like it was like we're us against the world. It's this way. We're Wakanda kids, man. Not good. And then it's also pretty rampant in my family. So we have a bad case of this, and I don't know if it's everybody in the family. It's for sure the males in my family, and I think it started with my grandfather, my granddaddy, then to my dad, then for sure to me, and then to my nephew as well. We kind of have that thought process. We're right about everything, and how do I know this? Anytime any of us bring something up, and I do this too. Again, I'm guilty of this as well. We like fact checked each other, right? Like my dad will say something like, I'll be like, yeah, I don't know if that's 100% accurate. Let me check on that. Or I'll say something, dad's like, yeah, but, and then we'll try to prove me wrong with something else. And my nephew's a little shit ass does the same exact thing. Again, this is like a terrible thing. We're hating on each other's ideas. We're a family. We're supposed to be supportive and like love each other, right? And just our male ego in our family is more like, nah. And maybe it's trying to figure out a dominant hierarchy of that? I don't know. Maybe it's some ape shit. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it happens, and it's not good, it's not always this is how it's done, or this is how we do it. Those are dangerous words to hear on anything. This is the way we've always done it, or this is the way it is. I like that saying, right? Like, it is what it is. Like, I fucking hate when people say that. I don't know, man. It is what it is. What does that mean? It is what it is, right? It's like someone saying, I don't know, it's just how I've always been, or I'm just like that, right? Or this is the way it's done. Like, why? It constrains you, and it doesn't lead to any growth or progress in anything, right? And it leads to like being like apathetic towards things, right? I don't know, it is what it is, right? Like, Jesus, man, like, why? Why is this? Why don't you question things? If I'm 15 years old and I'm saying it's just the way I am, and I haven't evolved, at 33, I'm like, oh, it's just the way I've always been. Like, what have I been doing the last almost 20 years on planet Earth? I have not been progressing. I haven't been getting better. So what the hell have I been doing? Wasting time, So we got to eliminate that kind of mindset, right? Like, and it's something that I remember hearing a lot when I was younger, and it's a saying that I love to this day. Like, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? There's multiple ways to do things. And I think society tries sometimes, I mean, I was a kid. Let me take you back to Wakanda, Illinois. The year, I don't know. I could read. So however old you are when you read, so it's like probably early 90s. I suck at that. I don't know, like first grade, second grade, when you can read or whatever. The place for sure was Amstead's. So if you don't know what Amstead's is, and especially if you don't kind of know what Amstead's is, you missed out. Amstead's was the little guy grocery store. It was keeping it real. And then the big boy Jewel Osco ended up taking out Amstead's, and taking all the business at the grocery store, which was kind of funny because like Dominic's moved in and tried to do the same thing to Jewel by us, and then Dominic's went out of business too. So Jewel, I guess, is the King Dick, at least in Wakanda, Illinois. But anyhow, so there I was. I used to like to go to Amstead's and get certain things. One of the things I like to get, and this will all come together, is those books back in the day, and these were choose your own adventure books. Okay, so if you don't know what a choose your own adventure book was, these things were awesome. So it's like a story, like it'd be like an adventure story or whatever. They made like boy ones and girl ones, like specific, and you would read X amount of pages, and then at a certain page, you would have like options on what you could do. So like let's say I'm reading one, it's like Leroy in the Caverns of Death or some shit like that, right? So I would be reading along, and then at some point in time, like, all right, Leroy had a choice. So if you want to go into the cave on the left without a light, go to page 65. If you want to go around the cave and find it, and with your lantern, go to page 29, right, or whatever the hell it is. So they give you a couple of different scenarios, and then you would choose your adventure. Then you'd go to whatever page, and then it would start playing out that way. And then you get more to pick, and sometimes it would end up good, sometimes it would end up bad. Sometimes you end up dead or fucked up. Sometimes you win. And if you were a real asshole, you could just cheat and kind of flip ahead and look at both. But anyways, I think what it was trying to instill is that there's more than one way to do things. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And I think that's something, kind of as we grow up, we kind of forget about, you know what I mean? And we fall into these structures and these systems, and if you were to tell, like, my grandpa, who's like a hero of mine, who I loved very much and who I very much look up to, he did not believe there was more than one way to skin a cat. There was his way to skin a cat, and then, like, maybe the other way to skin a cat was, like, his way at night. Like, there was no plan B, and that for sure got passed on to my dad. And then that for sure in turn got passed on to me, because what my dad did to my grandpa was he would rebel against him because, like, quit fucking telling me what to do. So then he would get stuck in his way. And then what my dad would do is he would tell me his way, and I'd be like, shut the fuck up, don't tell me that, I don't want to hear it. And I would go my way, and then in turn I passed it on to my nephew, and my dad passed it to my nephew, so he tells us both to shut the hell up, so he goes his way, right? And I think that's just kind of the way that things go. So you gotta free your mind. It's a conscious choice to open it up, to go blank slate, to free it, to be open to suggestion, to be open to new things. Okay, so one of my favorite quotes is it's by Bruce Lee. And he says you have to be like water. So being like water, meaning that you got to be able to flow, man. Like, you can't be stuck in one way of anything. If in terms of martial arts, that's what he was talking about. But I think that's a good, metaphor for life, is you do have to be like water. Like, you can't be stuck and just good at one thing. You have to be able to kind of go with the flow and be open to new ideas. So one thing that helps is you have to clear your mind of clutter. Because if you already have the end result in mind of whatever, and it's your way and it's right, like, you can't free your mind. So there's a few ways that I like to clear my mind. Okay? So, and they're both, I don't know, maybe new age shit, and if you're old school, you might think that's stupid, or I've never done that, or that's dumb. But hey, here's an idea. Free your mind, open your mind, and maybe try it. It won't kill you, all right? So, and that's what I had to do. How do I know? Because I had those same exact thoughts, right? And it'll make sense when I explain it too. So one is meditation, right? The last time I meditated, so I've been meditating, on and off, but more seriously for like the last like year or two. But the only time I meditated before that is when, and I've talked about this before, back in the day, I talked about some baby chat uptown. At Ganji's Karate, Sensei Harry had us do some meditating after a karate class, I believe. Other than that, it was like the last time. But really taking time to clear my mind, right? Or to clear your mind and focus on breath and just letting it wander and seeing what happens. It's something, and here's how I know it works. One, it works for me, but two, I'm not an original guy. So what I do is I want to be successful in life. I want to crush life, as I feel most people do, and want to be successful at things they do, business ventures, work, leading people, just living great. So what I do is I look at people that are doing well at things, and I look at their habits. So Tim Ferriss, his podcast is really great at this. He finds very successful people and asks them a lot of questions and makes a lot of lists about stuff. And he shoots out like this thing called the 5 Bullet Friday, which is an email every Friday that goes over some of these things. But more importantly, like he just talks about this stuff all the time. Leroy's trying to get that bone. And he always sees like morning routines or things that a lot of successful people do in different areas. And one common thing that a lot of successful people do is every day they take time to meditate. So me being a step up from a caveman, I said, well, I'd like to be successful. The only successful advice I'm getting right now is from DJ Khaled saying, if you want to be successful, you got to have a lot of pillows. So let me try this. So I tried. And you don't have to jump in and go like full-on monk or to some silent retreat. I started, it took 5 minutes. Right? And here's some crazy stuff. They have apps on your phone. They got like Headspace, right? They have Calm that'll help guide you through it and teach you how to do it. But really just taking the time to turn off and to focus on breathing, and clearing your mind, it helps a lot with the stress that is going to happen in the day because I'm not walking out of the house with a loaded gun. So on my old drive to work, when I'm not decluttered, I have a bunch of stuff on my mind, thinking about problems. Guess what happens? That's when road rage kicks in, right? That's when you turn off your blinker, get the fuck out of here. This, that, and the other, and then I'm just hyped up, and I'm on an 8 or 9 before I'm even starting my day. So how am I supposed to be effective if I'm coming in hot? And if you take a minute to think about what I just said, that probably exactly happens to you. Is that when you're commuting to work or starting your day or whatever, you're thinking about all your problems, you're thinking about other stuff, you're trying to figure out solutions in a short amount of time, and then little things happen, they just set you off, and then it just sets the tone for the day. And it sucks. Right? It's like when you come home to a dirty house, it sucks. But after you clean it, feels better. So do that with your mind. Clear your mind. Meditate. Let it roam. Let that shit get out. And then the other thing that I do is I journal every day. And again, this was something that was hard for me. Like, what the hell are you talking about, journal? Like, that's like something like little girls do, like have journals, or like, I don't know, like psychopaths, right? Like it was one, it was like the two ends of the spectrum for me, right? It's little girls journal or have a diary, and then it's like crazy people journal before they do something nuts, right? So again, I was just studying what successful people do in a lot of different avenues, and journaling came up. So I figured, what the hell? Why not try it? So I do it every morning. So one thing I do is I practice gratitude. So I like the book The Secret. I know, it's got a lot of, some people love it, some people hate it. Whatever. Take what you like with anything. Again, open your mind, free your mind. Take what you like, use it, and what you don't. Like law of attraction. I think this shit works. Being positive, like I think it's a good idea, and I think if you're positive, more better shit happens to you. I'm a believer in that, and if you're not, then I don't know, don't be. I don't care. But it talks about practicing gratitude and focusing on the positive, what you're thankful for. So I start off first every morning. I have gratitude, so I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for, usually from the day before, sometimes, for that day. And these can be very simple things, right? Sometimes they are. Sometimes it's like, I'm grateful I woke up today. I'm grateful I'm breathing clearly, right? I'm grateful Leroy gave me some kisses in the morning. I'm grateful, this random person in the streets of Chicago smiled at me. I'm grateful for friends. I'm grateful that whatever it is, I just write down 3 things I'm grateful for. And sometimes they're bigger things. I'm grateful for, my grandpa surviving another year after all it's going through and being able to celebrate his birthday and be happy with family. I'm grateful for, my sister, stepping up when my grandma passed away and really taking on a leadership role in our little family of me and my mom and my sister. And that was awesome. So it doesn't matter what it is, but I'm always writing down everyday things I'm grateful for because I'm focusing on what I have. And I think a lot of the times we focus on what we don't have. We want to bitch about what we don't have. We want to fucking complain about what we don't have instead of focus on every great little thing that we have. If we wake up, that's great. If we're in a house, that's even better. If the house is warm in Chicago in the winter, that's even better. Let's write that shit down. Let's focus on that. Let's not focus on, oh, I stubbed my toe. Let's not focus on, oh, I got to see Dickface McGee today at work. It helps. And then I usually write stuff down just like what I'm feeling. I just journal. If there's something on my mind, I write it down. I get stuff out. I'm clearing space. I'm clearing the house. I'm clearing the mind. So every day I can focus on what's at hand at that moment. And also, it's clear. So it takes a lot more stress and little bullshit to build up for me to be on edge. So most of the time, I'm not on edge. And this is a great point, especially if you knew me back in the day to knowing me now. The most common thing people say is, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's in a good way, right? And it's that like, dude, you're like very calm. Like you're just different, And I'm the same old guy. I love smashing beers and doing shots. I like dicking around. I like being loud and having fun, telling stupid stories, making people laugh. I'm just chilling because like I'm clear out now. So now I walk around on like a 3, not an 8. Right? And it just makes me feel so much better. So free your mind. Give it a try. Try something new. Maybe tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this, the day after you listen to it or later that day, try meditating for 5 minutes, just in silence and clearing your mind. Focus on breathing, not thinking. Maybe write down some stuff you're thankful for or you're grateful for, or tell somebody that you haven't told in a while that you appreciate them, right? And then focus on the positive. Maybe write down some thoughts that are in your head and get them out and purge that shit, good or bad. Give it a try. So something else is, when you free your mind, it's about being a great student and getting better. And if your mind's open, it's cool because you're more open to suggestion and trying new things. But also like you can see what works and what doesn't work by trying these new things, and that's being a student, and that's making you better at whatever you're applying that to. If it's physical activity or working out, if it's work, if it's literally being a student and learning, if it's whatever, setting goals, whatever. It's being a student to grow and to get better. And knowing that maybe there's another way, maybe a more efficient way that someone is completing something, right? If I'm at work and I'm looking around and someone's doing the same job as me but better, I'm going to try to figure out what they're doing so I can get those results, right? It makes sense, right? If I'm not getting results, why would I keep doing what I'm doing and beat my head against a wall, right? It's burning calories, but that's about the only positive thing to it. Why not get with the person that's kicking ass and ask them and pick their brain and figure out, hey, what are you doing? What's going on here? And then just be a great student so I can get better, right? I use the internet. I take time. Like I'm researching things, and it becomes addicting. Like the thirst for knowledge, and once you learn something new and you apply it and you see it work, it makes you want to do it more. Then all of a sudden, all this extra time you had dicking around, Netflix binge watching or fucking off, like you're becoming better. You're learning new things. You're creating a higher skill set that's making you kick the ass at life more. It's making you crush more. So being a good student, right? It's also going to help you build better relationships, right? Like having an open mind, freeing your mind, like listening to people. I've found, and trust me, this is coming from a guy who, especially romantically, but in general, like I've had a lot of failed relationships or a lot of not so good relationships. Here's why. Well, one, I used to just be kind of a dick, but two, like, and clearly I have a podcast and it's a solo cast and I can go for 45 an hour, whatever. Like I like to talk, and sometimes I like to talk more than I listen. And especially too, if I was piggybacking off what I said earlier, if I come from Wakanda where it's my way or the highway, and I come from a family where it's my way or the highway, like when I'm talking, like I want to get my idea across because I think it's the best. So me listening to other ideas is not so good. Therefore, why would you want to be in any sort of relationship with me, be it my girlfriend, be it my friend, be it my coworker, if I'm just that motherfucker that's talking to you about his views all the time and why they're right? It doesn't really make sense, right? So like, if I'm actively listening to other people and genuinely like being a good student, wanting to learn, like that's like, how to win friends influence people 101 is listening to people and hearing what they have to say and actively listening and not just thinking about what I'm going to say next. Like, oh, I'm just, and you know what I'm talking about, where someone's talking, you're going, and you're just thinking, shut the hell up because I want to jump in. I know I'm going to say next. I'm going to say next. So everything they're saying is going one ear out the other. I'm talking about actively listening, paying attention, really taking in the information, what they're saying, and trying to see it from that view, right? Because we're all in the same building, it's got different views. I believe Drake said that back in the day, right? But it makes sense. And maybe this view is better than my view. Maybe this way to do things is better than my things. Let me take my ego out of it, really listen and see. So it's going to help build better, deeper relationships, and that in turn is going to make your quality of life better, because that is what the human experience is about. We are tribal people. We are group people. We do not like being alone. We like having great relationships that are meaningful and deep, and this will deepen that. Okay? So it's also going to help you to grow and learn and be humble. You're going to be trying new things. You're going to get out of your comfort zone, right? And there's nothing better than getting out of your comfort zone. One, because if you're getting out of your comfort zone, doing new things, and you suck at it, it's going to be humbling, and we have to be humbled every now and then, right? It's also teaching us how to take risks, right? And we're growing balls, so to speak, and we're getting better. Again, if I'm Randy Paddock at 15, the same one at 33, I'm not any better. I didn't get any better. What am I doing? I'm wasting time. We're given this precious gift of life, and we're going around this rock one time. What are you doing? You got to get better. And it took me a while to realize this. But ever since I did, that's been my mission. And now my goal is to try to tell people about it, and to help them. So what do you got to do? You got to get out of your comfort zone. Me starting this podcast is get out of my comfort zone. I got some big changes coming in life that are scary as fuck, but I'm getting out of my comfort zone, right? And it's risky, and it's great, and it feels good because I feel I'm getting better, right? I've been humbled in business. I've been humbled in my personal life. I've been humbled in my family life. And it's great because I got out of my comfort zone. I tried new things. So even like little shit, right? Again, here's a stupid ass example about something that makes so much sense. Okay, so tomatoes, all right? So I did not like tomatoes for a majority of my life, and this very much bothered my grandma because my grandma made a lot of Italian food involving tomatoes. And I did not want tomatoes on that shit, so I wouldn't eat the stuff, right? Not cool, right? And this was for a long time. So I'm 33, so about 30 years old is when I made the change. So the first 30 years that I've been on planet Earth, I did not like tomatoes. And that was just, it's the way I am. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. I'm never going to eat them. I'm never going to eat them. I had that thought process. Fuck tomatoes, right? Should have made that a t-shirt. Fuck tomatoes, right? But that was my thought process, right? But then I'm like, all right, what the hell? I'm going to start, I think like 30 is when I really started having an epiphany in life about, all right, let me listen to some other, let me listen to some other viewpoints and let me free my mind a little bit, right? So I just got logical and did some common sense stuff. I'm like, all right, so tomatoes are featured in dishes from a lot of different genres of food, right? So Mexican dishes, right? They got tomatoes on tacos and burritos, on all that kind of stuff, all right? Obviously Italian dishes, tomatoes everywhere, right? In the gravy, all over the place, right? American bullshit, sandwiches, right? Like every sandwich has a tomato on it, right? I see people eating tomatoes like apples, right? So there's a lot of facts that show that tomatoes are well liked across the board, and a lot of people like them. That's why they're in a lot of different foods. So maybe I'm the asshole. Maybe I'm wrong. I took my ego, put it aside for my tomatoes, and said, maybe I'm wrong. So I tried it. I got out of my comfort zone. And no, I didn't pick up a tomato like an apple and bite into it. I still can't do it. But I'm like, you know what? Next time I'm getting a burger, leave that fucker on there. No. Instead of me saying no tomato, yeah, I was that guy. I ordered some. Yeah, no tomato. Nah, go ahead, leave that shit on there. Right? On my tacos. Yeah, go ahead, leave those tomatoes on there. Right? I got a salad. Yeah, throw some of the little cherry bitches on there. Right? And slowly but surely. And I found out, wow, I like these. These are great. And they complement this food so well. No wonder it's in there. I'm an idiot. But a free mind led to my diet, right? I've done it with like spinach. I've done it with other things that I eat a ton of now that I was like, I hate it. That's just the way I am, right? So that's a stupid example, but it makes sense on, freeing your mind, getting out of your comfort zone, trying something new, right? A lot of people just wait and hesitate because they're scared about stuff, right? So that's why they sit in jobs that they hate forever, or they never ask that girl out, or they never jump into that jujitsu gym, or they never lift up that weight, or they never run that mile, or they never do whatever, because there's always an excuse of something else. And the fact of the matter is, they're scared because it's uncomfortable. And as human beings, our natural instinct is to be comfortable, to be safe, to do what we know, right? Like people that date and then break up and then date again, what the fuck is that? All that is comfort zone. Does it work out sometimes? Yes, but I'm guessing, a minimal amount than it does because you broke up in the first place, which means there was something wrong. Why do you get back together? Because it's comfortable and we're both lazy. That's why that shit happens. And then you can masquerade as, oh, we're just meant to be star-crossed lovers or whatever bullshit is going on, right? We always fall back to what's comfort, right? It's funny, you can see in the most primal cases, right? If you watch UFC fights, right? Let's say someone's a wrestler, that's their comfort zone, and maybe they're changing up the game plan, they start to stand up, but they get rocked a couple of times, they're going to revert back to what they know what's comfortable and rest in there and try to take someone down. It's just how we are naturally. So we have to make the conscious decision because we do control our mind, and our mind controls our body. We make the conscious decision to, I'm going to go ahead and do something that's going to make me feel out of comfort. I'm bucking the trend. I'm going to go and do something that's going to make me feel a little weird. Might be embarrassing, might be humbling, might be strange, but you know what? You're going to get better. And you're creating these great habits of growing balls, taking risks. Now, fuck, I'll ask every girl out. Now I'm running every mile. Now I'll pick up that gym. I'm jumping in every class. You know what? I don't like this job. It's not satisfying me. I'm quitting. I'm doing my own thing. I'm going on to something next. I'm in a new industry. This is great. This is a human experience. This is growing. But we have to consciously do it. We have to fight our inner bitch that's saying, no, stay here. It's comfortable. Right? If you want to get better. If you don't want to get better, then don't. Stay in your comfort zone. It's fine. A lot of people do it. I'm just not one of them. I don't think you should be one of them if you truly want to enjoy the time on earth, man. So, we're doing those. So when do you start? You start now. You start now. You go. You go after it, right? Like, you want to start growing? You want to start doing new things? Why wait? Right? Think about this. We do this all the time in little things. Like if I want a piece of pizza, I'm like, oh, you know what, in 3 weeks I'm going to get a piece of pizza. No, I'm going to go get a fucking piece of pizza, right? So like on little things, we won't hesitate. But wait, so why not just go now? Why not? What's worse that could happen? Right? Our ego gets damaged. We get humbled a little. We strike out. Who gives a shit? What's the best going to happen? What if she says yes? What if that new job is what's the most fulfilling thing in my life? What if that jiu-jitsu class taught me something that saved my life? What if picking up that weight gave me the self-confidence I didn't know I had, and now I'm unstoppable? Why would we wait to test those theories? Why not go now? Take that risk, right? I do it all the time. Hey, look at me, right? I mean, I look kind of nuts. This beard is long, but I have tattoos, I have muscles, right? I have a beard. I'm like, prior people look at like, that dude's probably into like Metallica and Pantera. You know what? I don't give a shit if I'm riding my whip. You know what's gonna happen? Adele Hello's gonna come on, and I'm turning that shit up to fucking 11, and I'm gonna start bellowing out about the other side or whatever the hell she's talking about. Why? Because my mind's open. If it's good, I like it. If the Beebs comes on, a little sorry comes on, I'm shaking my ass. That's just the way it is, right? Like you gotta open your mind. You gotta try new things and accept new things as what they are. Okay? So what you do then is discipline equals it equals freedom. Right? And again, Jocko Willink is big on this. Go back to podcast number 9 if you want to hear my take on his book, Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual, or you should buy it and read it yourself a bunch of times because it'll help. But if you discipline your body, he talks about this concept of disciplining your body so your mind's free, and that's very true. If you create great habits and you discipline your body, like your mind's free to do whatever. Right? If my body's disciplined to get up at a certain time, I don't have to think about it. If it's disciplined to work out, I don't have to think about it. If it's disciplined to pack my lunch for work so I'm eating healthy and fueling my body well, I don't have to think about it. I have more time to have an open mind. It's removing the clutter. I plan out my weeks. I think people should do this in one way or another. Plan out, like I'm big on writing stuff down, planning out what I'm going to do, when I'm doing it, this, that, and the other, because again, I'm disciplined in it. I don't have to think about it. So then it's keeping my mind free to be open to new things, to open ideas. Discipline the body, discipline the habits, right? And again, what that's doing, again, they tie hand in hand. It's getting out of the comfort zone. Disciplining yourself is hard. It's uncomfortable, right? Waking up earlier is hard. Writing down what you're doing that week and then sticking to the plan is hard. Packing your lunch is harder than going through the drive-through, right? Working out is harder than sitting on your ass, right? Doing that extra prep work or study for class or for a job or for a meeting, for whatever. It's harder than being just skating by and wondering, right? But again, if you have these disciplined habits, you're not thinking about it. You don't have that oh shit feeling. You know how it is when you half-ass something, you have the oh shit, I hope this works feeling, or ah fuck, I forgot that, or whatever. If you're disciplined in your habits and the body's disciplined and the plan's disciplined, it's a no-brainer, right? I'm never like, oh fuck, I'm gonna be late for work, so I wake up at 4:30 every day. I'm out of the house by 10 to 6 every day. So even if there's a car accident, I'm going to be fine on time, right? I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna eat for lunch, or God forbid if I forgot my wallet, I can't get lunch because it's packed in my car. Right? I already have lunch packed and it's gonna be great when I eat it because it's food that I made. Right? I know that I'm gonna do certain stuff after work certain days. I know I'm gonna go to the gym certain days. I know I'm gonna do jiu-jitsu certain days. I don't have to think about it. I just go. So all the stuff I need to do that's important to me. I know I podcast usually on the weekends, right? But hey, I didn't have time this weekend. Everything's planned, everything's done today. So boom, it fits in. I have that more free time. My mind is free. It's not cluttered thinking about what I have to do. My mind is pretty off tonight. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do some bull chat on a fucking Wednesday because I can. That's the power of the disciplined body, the disciplined plan equaling the free mind. Right? Great habits, great habits, great habits. And all habits are, it's consistency. It's doing the same things over time. And then you just stop thinking about them and they become habits and then you're better. Habits work both ways, right? You have shitty habits or have great habits. So what do you want to build? Probably good habits. So what is going to do that? Get out of your comfort zone. Taking a risk. Having an open mind to a new thing. Applying something new. Give it a try. What's the worst that can happen? If it don't kill you, fuck it. Try it. Right? So we want to evolve into the best version of ourselves. What's the best version of ourselves? If I'm thinking of the best version of me or the best version of anybody, most time I think what would be ideal? They're probably happy. Okay? So what's happy? Happy is like I'm happy like when I look in the mirror what I see, I'm happy with that. I'm confident. Right? Like people would probably be happy with that. I'm in relationships that are positive, that I enjoy. I enjoy the company that I keep. I enjoy the people I surround myself with, right? I am doing something I like. I like going to work. Right? I'm smart. I have knowledge. So to want to become a better version of yourself, you got to free your mind. Listen to new things. Try new things. Have those habits that are disciplined. Just really get that arsenal of knowledge to make yourself unfuckwithable. Know a lot about a lot. Right? What's the old saying, right? A jack of all trades, a master of none. Fuck that. Be a master of all trades. We can do that. How do we do that? Free your mind. Right? And as En Vogue said, free your mind and the rest will follow. So that is what I think about freeing your mind. Have a great rest of the week. I will talk to you guys soon. Until then, put this one in the books. Peace.